The unexpected side effect. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the data scrolling across her holographic display, her coffee growing cold beside her keyboard. Something wasn't right with the latest round of test results from the longevity trials. The genetic therapy designed to extend pet lifespans was working, perhaps too well. The neural activity readings from the test subjects weren't just elevated, they were approaching human patterns. Dr. Chen. Her assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. Max is doing it again. Sarah sighed, pushing away from her desk. Max was their primary test subject, a 3-year-old golden retriever who had received the first round of treatments 6 months ago. She made her way to the observation room, where Max sat in his enrichment area, methodically arranging his toys by color and size. "How long has he been at it?" Sarah asked, watching through the observation window. 20 minutes. And look, he's using the new toys we introduced yesterday. He already understands the sorting principle. Sarah pressed her hand against the glass. Max looked up, his warm brown eyes meeting hers with an intelligence that sent shivers down her spine. He deliberately picked up a blue ball, held it up for her to see, then placed it precisely in line with other blue objects. "Run a full cognitive assessment," she ordered, "and get me the neural scans from all other test subjects in the program." The results came back within hours, and they were staggering. Every animal that had received the longevity treatment was showing similar signs of enhanced cognitive function. The therapy wasn't just extending their lives, it was fundamentally altering their brain development. Sarah spent the next 3 days buried in data analysis, barely sleeping. The genetic therapy was designed to repair cellular damage and enhance natural regeneration, but it had somehow triggered unprecedented neural growth. The animals weren't just getting smarter, they were developing human-like neural networks. On the 4th day, Max spoke his first word. Sarah had been alone in the lab, reviewing brain scans, when she heard it, clear as day, though somewhat rough around the edges. "Sarah." She dropped her tablet, spinning around to face Max's enclosure. He sat there, tail wagging gently, with an expression that could only be described as pleased with himself. "Sarah," he repeated, more confidently this time. "Door. Please." Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone to record this moment. "Max, do you understand me?" Yes. His vocabulary was limited, but his comprehension seemed vast. Always understood. Couldn't speak before. Different now. Better. The implications were overwhelming. Their attempt to give pets longer lives had instead given them something far more profound. Sapience. Human-level consciousness. And Max wasn't alone. Reports started flooding in from other research sites within days. Cats solving puzzle boxes designed for primates. Dogs learning sign language. A parrot in Singapore who had started correcting his owner's mathematics homework. Sarah knew she should alert the ethics board immediately, but she needed to understand more first. "Max, how does it feel? These changes?" Max tilted his head, considering. Like waking up. Was dreaming before. Now awake. He padded closer to the glass. "Scared." "A little," Sarah admitted. "This wasn't what we intended." "Good though," Max insisted. "Can help more now. Be better friend." He pressed his paw against the glass where her hand rested. "Still me. Just more." The next few weeks were a blur of emergency meetings, ethical reviews, and endless documentation. The public reaction when the news broke was chaos, equal parts terror and amazement. But it was too late to contain it. The therapy had already been in widespread veterinary use for months. Across the globe, pets were waking up. Sarah found herself at the center of a storm, defending their research while trying to advocate for the rights of these newly awakened beings. Through it all, Max remained her steadfast ally, learning to speak more clearly each day and helping to bridge the communication gap with other uplifted animals. Never meant to change the world, Sarah confessed to him one evening, as they sat together in her office. Max now free to come and go as he pleased. World always changing, Max replied, resting his head on her knee. Humans made us family long ago. Now we can be partners too. He looked up at her with those intelligent eyes. Not mistake. Next step. Sarah ran her fingers through his fur, remembering how she'd started this project, simply hoping to give people a few more years with their beloved pets. Instead, she'd helped create something unprecedented in human history, a bridge between species, a new kind of relationship that would reshape society forever. As if reading her thoughts, Max added softly, "Still good boy, though." Sarah laughed, wiping away tears she hadn't realized were falling. "Yes, you are. The very best." Outside her office window, the sun was setting on the first chapter of this new era. In homes across the world, thousands of pets were finding their voices, and humanity was about to discover that their faithful companions had always been capable of so much more than anyone had imagined. The longevity therapy had failed in its original purpose. None of them yet knew if it would extend lifespans as intended. But it had succeeded in something far more remarkable. It had expanded what it meant to be a person, and in doing so, had changed the future of two species forever, adjusting to the new normal. Marcus Rodriguez never expected to find himself negotiating with his German shepherd over household chores. Yet here he was, at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, having a spirited debate with Luna about the proper organization of their shared living space. "The vacuum cleaner terrified you last month," Marcus pointed out, gesturing with his coffee mug. "Now you want to operate it yourself." Luna sat primly by the kitchen counter, her posture radiating dignity. "I've watched you do it precisely 147 times. The mechanism is simple, and my motor control has improved significantly." She tilted her head. "Besides, I can reach under the furniture more easily than you can." That was hard to argue with. In the 3 months since the global Uplift event, Luna had mastered everything from opening doors to using the tablet computer Marcus had bought her. Operating a vacuum cleaner was probably well within her capabilities. "Fine," Marcus conceded, "but we need to talk about your obsession with rearranging the bookshelf." "Your organization system was inefficient," Luna replied. "Alphabetical order is clearly superior to whatever chaos you were attempting." Before Marcus could respond, the morning news broadcast caught their attention. Another protest had broken out in downtown Chicago, this time over whether uplifted pets should be allowed to open bank accounts. The footage showed humans and animals on both sides of the issue, holding signs and making their voices heard. Luna watched intently, her ears forward. "They're afraid of us becoming too independent." Can you blame them? 3 months ago, most people thought their pets' deepest thoughts were about dinner and belly rubs. Now you're discussing philosophy and demanding voting rights. "We always thought about more than that," Luna said softly. "We just couldn't express it. Do you remember the night Sarah died?" Marcus fell silent. His wife's passing 2 years ago had left them both adrift. "You didn't leave my side for weeks. I understood grief before I had words for it. I understood love before I could say, 'I love you.'" Luna patted over and rested her head on his knee. "The uplift didn't give us feelings we didn't have. It just let us share them better." Their moment was interrupted by a notification on Luna's tablet. The local Uplifted Pets Association was holding another meeting, and as one of the more articulate early recipients of the treatment, Luna had become something of a community leader. "They want me to speak about integration strategies," she explained, scanning the message. "Many newly uplifted pets are struggling with their new awareness. Not all humans are as adaptable as you." Marcus snorted. "Adaptable? I had a meltdown when you started correcting my grammar." "Your comma usage was atrocious," Luna replied with a doggy grin. "Still is, actually." The doorbell interrupted their banter. Through the window, Marcus spotted their new neighbors, a human woman named Claire and her uplifted Maine Coon, Aristotle. They had started a support group for humans and pets navigating the post-uplift world together. "We should invite them in," Luna suggested. Aristotle mentioned wanting to discuss starting a local education initiative. Many uplifted pets want to pursue formal learning, but most institutions aren't prepared to accommodate us. Marcus nodded, moving to open the door. This was his life now. Hosting planning meetings with cats and dogs, helping coordinate civil rights movements for beings who used to chase laser pointers for entertainment. And somehow, it felt right. Claire entered with Aristotle perched elegantly on his specialized mobility harness, another new innovation for uplifted pets who wanted to interact more easily with human environments. The cat's green eyes sparkled with intelligence as he surveyed the room. "We brought bagels," Claire announced, "and salmon for those of us with more discerning palates," Aristotle added with typical feline sophistication. As they settled in the living room, the conversation flowed naturally between species. They discussed the challenges facing their community, housing regulations, employment opportunities, the need for specialized equipment designed for non-human users. Luna shared her experiences helping other uplifted pets cope with their new awareness, while Aristotle outlined his vision for multi-species educational programs. "The key," Luna explained, "is helping humans understand that we're not trying to replace or overshadow them. We want to build something new together." Marcus watched his dog, his friend, confidently leading the discussion, remembering the playful puppy he'd adopted 6 years ago. She was still that same loving, loyal companion, but now she was also so much more. They all were. The meeting stretched into afternoon, plans taking shape for a future none of them could have imagined just months ago. When Claire and Aristotle finally left, Marcus found Luna staring thoughtfully out the window. "Penny for your thoughts?" he asked. "I was thinking about how lucky we are," she replied. "Some humans have rejected their uplifted pets entirely. Others try to pretend nothing has changed. But you," she turned to face him, "you let me become who I was meant to be." Marcus reached out to scratch behind her ears. Some things hadn't changed, and smiled. "You know, when Sarah was sick, you used to bring her favorite blanket whenever her pain got bad. You couldn't tell us in words, but you knew exactly what she needed. You were always this person, Luna. I'm just glad I can finally hear everything you have to say." Luna leaned into his touch, even when I'm critiquing your grammar. "Especially then." He laughed. "Now, about that vacuum cleaner. I'll make you a deal," Luna said, tail wagging. "I'll handle the vacuuming if you finally let me proofread your work emails. That last one you sent to your boss physically pained me." As they settled into their usual evening routine, Luna with her tablet, Marcus with his laptop, sharing space as easily as they always had, he marveled at how the most remarkable change in human history had somehow felt like the most natural thing in the world. Crisis of identity. Perseus sat motionless on the windowsill of Emily's apartment, his black tail twitching as he watched the city below. The streets of Boston had changed dramatically in the past 6 months. Specialized transit pods now carried uplifted animals alongside human passengers. Storefronts displayed signs advertising, "All species welcome." A group of uplifted border collies had even opened a consulting firm specializing in organizational efficiency. "You're brooding again," Emily called from her desk, where she was grading papers for her sociology class. The university had recently added a course on post-uplift society, and as both a professor and the human companion of an uplifted cat, she had unique insights to offer. "I prefer to call it contemplative observation," Perseus replied, his voice carrying the slight musical lilt common to uplifted cats. "Though I suppose brooding does have a certain feline dignity to it." Emily set aside her work. "What's really bothering you? You've been quiet since the council meeting." Perseus turned from the window, his green eyes reflecting the afternoon light. "The separatists are gaining support. They believe uplifted animals should form their own independent communities, free from human influence." He paused, whiskers twitching. "They asked me to be their spokesperson." "Oh." Emily tried to keep her voice neutral, but Perseus caught the slight tremor in it. "And what did you tell them?" "That I needed time to think." He jumped down gracefully, padding across the room. Their arguments are not without merit. Many uplifted pets face restrictions in human-centric societies. Some humans still treat us as property, despite the new rights legislation. But that's not what you want, is it? Emily asked softly. Perseus leaped onto her desk, carefully avoiding the papers. I want progress without abandoning what makes our relationship special. Humans and animals have evolved together for thousands of years. The uplift didn't erase that history. It enhanced it. Their conversation was interrupted by a notification on Perseus's specialized tablet. Another protest had turned violent downtown, this time at a restaurant that had refused to serve uplifted customers. The footage showed angry humans and animals on both sides, while moderate voices from both species called for calm. It's happening more frequently, Emily noted, concerned. The extremists on both sides are getting louder. Fear makes monsters of us all, Perseus quoted, then added, Shakespeare would have had fascinating insights about our situation. He had developed a particular fondness for classical literature since the uplift. A knock at the door announced the arrival of their weekly discussion group. What had started as a small gathering of uplifted pets and their humans had grown into a significant community forum. Today's topic was particularly relevant: identity and independence in the post-uplift era. The living room soon filled with an eclectic mix of species. A chocolate lad named Darwin, who had become a respected mathematician. A cockatoo called Plato, who specialized in conflict resolution. Even a pair of uplifted rats, Marie and Pierre, who were conducting groundbreaking research in neural interfaces. The fundamental question, Perseus began, assuming his usual role as moderator, is whether integration or separation better serves the interests of both species. Integration has historical precedent, Darwin offered. Humans and animals have always been stronger together than apart. But we were not equals then, countered an uplifted fox named Sage. The old dynamics cannot apply to our new reality. The debate continued, thoughtful and passionate. Emily watched Perseus guide the discussion with practiced ease, remembering the aloof cat who used to communicate primarily through meaningful stares and strategic furniture scratching. He still scratched the furniture occasionally, but now he could explain exactly why her choice of upholstery was aesthetically offensive. Perhaps, Perseus suggested, we're approaching this from the wrong angle. The question isn't whether to maintain our connections with humans, but how to evolve them. We're not just pets who gained intelligence. We're a new kind of being, shaped by both our animal nature and our shared history with humanity. The room fell quiet, considering his words. Even the separatist sympathizers looked thoughtful. Besides, Perseus added with a characteristic feline smirk, who would explain to humans why they're wrong about everything if we all left? The tension broke as laughter rippled through the room. Emily reached out to scratch behind Perseus's ears, a gesture that had evolved from simple affection to a symbol of their enduring bond. Later, after their guests had departed, Perseus found Emily sitting on the balcony, watching the sunset. He jumped onto her lap, a habit unchanged by his newfound eloquence. I told the separatists no, he said quietly. My identity isn't defined by being either a cat or an intellectual equal to humans. It's defined by being both, and by the relationships that shaped me. He looked up at her, including this one. Emily smiled, tears in her eyes. You know, when the uplift happened, everyone warned me that you'd want to leave. That cats especially would have no reason to stay with humans once they could communicate and care for themselves. Those people clearly never understood cats, Perseus replied. We've always chosen to stay. Now we can simply explain why. He settled more comfortably into her lap. Though I still reserve the right to knock things off tables when you're being particularly obtuse. As night fell over the city, they could hear the distant sounds of both protest and celebration, the growing pains of a world in transformation. But in their small corner of it, a human and her cat had found their balance, proving that some bonds grow stronger when tested by change. Emily, Perseus murmured, half asleep. Yes, I'm still not using that ridiculous mechanical litter box you bought. Some dignity must be maintained. The alien observer. Xenoanthropologist. Catil adjusted her atmospheric processor and watched the scene unfolding in Central Park through compound eyes. Her mission to study Earth's unprecedented uplift phenomenon had already generated more data than the Galactic Academic Council had collected in the past century, but something still eluded her understanding. A golden retriever and a human child played fetch, a seemingly primitive activity that Catil had initially dismissed as beneath uplifted beings. Yet the dog was clearly enjoying himself despite being capable of quantum physics calculations, and the child's laughter echoed with genuine joy. Puzzling, isn't it? The voice belonged to Dr. James Chen, her human liaison. 6 months of observation, and you're still watching people play with their pets. The relationship defies rational analysis. Catil admitted, her translator converting her clicks into smooth English. In every other documented case of artificial intelligence elevation, the upgraded beings immediately separated from their creators. Yet here, she gestured at the park, where uplifted and non-uplifted animals played alongside humans with comfortable familiarity. Perhaps you're approaching it from the wrong direction, suggested a new voice. Hill turned to find an uplifted border collie named Tesla, one of her primary study subjects. You're assuming this is a case of creators and created, but humans didn't create us. They befriended us thousands of years ago. The uplift just allowed us to express ourselves more fully. Hill's antennae twitched with interest. Yet your species has achieved intellectual parity with your former masters. The power dynamic should have shifted dramatically. Tesla sat, head tilted. Intellectual parity doesn't negate emotional bonds. My human companion still makes my favorite breakfast every morning, and I still alert her when her blood sugar is dropping. We take care of each other, just as we always have. Dr. Chen checked his phone, frowning. Speaking of care, there's another situation developing downtown. The purist movement is protesting outside the new interspecies university. Till had been tracking these human resistance groups with particular interest. They fear change, she observed, as all species do. They fear losing what makes us human, Dr. Chen corrected. Some believe that by uplifting animals, we've somehow diminished humanity's special place in Earth's history. Tesla's ears flattened slightly, as if understanding each other better somehow makes either species less unique. Till followed them downtown, where the protest was growing heated. Humans carried signs declaring "Keep animals natural" and "Stop the uplift spread." A counter-protest had formed, with uplifted animals and their human allies calling for continued progress and acceptance. In the midst of the tension, Hill witnessed something remarkable. A young uplifted cat noticed a human protester showing signs of heat stress. Despite being on opposite sides of the issue, the cat immediately alerted nearby medical personnel. The human's life was potentially saved by the very being whose rights he had been protesting. "You see," Tesla said quietly, noticing Catil's reaction. "The bonds between our species run deeper than politics or even intelligence. They're written into our DNA through millennia of coexistence." Catil's research notes were becoming increasingly personal, much to the concern of her superiors back home. But how could she maintain clinical detachment when studying something so unprecedented? The uplift hadn't just created a new form of intelligence, it had revealed the true depth of an ancient partnership. Later that evening, Catil found herself in a rather unique situation, attending a dinner party hosted by an uplifted German shepherd named Luna. The guest list included humans, uplifted pets, and Catil herself, the first alien to be invited to such an intimate gathering. "I must admit," Catil said, watching Luna skillfully manage both conversation and dinner preparation, "my species has always viewed Earth's human-animal bonds as a primitive curiosity. We assumed such attachments would be among the first casualties of the uplift. Instead, they've become our greatest strength," Luna replied, expertly operating a modified kitchen tool designed for pod users. Humans gave us the gift of enhanced cognition, yes, but we gave them something too. Proof that love and intelligence aren't mutually exclusive. The evening progressed, and Kill observed the natural flow of interaction between species. Humans and uplifted animals seamlessly switched between profound philosophical discussions and simple expressions of affection. An uplifted parrot named Aristotle debated quantum mechanics while accepting gentle head scratches from his human companion. Perseus, the eloquent cat she'd met earlier, quoted Shakespeare while curled contentedly in his human's lap. "Your report to the council will be interesting," Dr. Chen commented as they left the party. "How do you explain all this in academic terms?" Kill's antennae drooped slightly. "I'm not certain I can. My species prides itself on pure logic, on rising above emotional attachments. But watching Earth's beings, human and animal alike, I'm beginning to wonder if we've misunderstood what true advancement looks like." As if to illustrate her point, they passed a park where an uplifted dog was teaching advanced mathematics to human students, while simultaneously playing fetch with them during breaks. The scene perfectly encapsulated what made Earth's situation unique: the ability to embrace both intellectual growth and simple joy, to advance without abandoning the bonds that made them who they were. Perhaps, Kill mused, making her final notes of the day, the most remarkable aspect of Earth's uplift isn't the technology that made it possible, but the fact that it revealed something that was there all along: a capacity for connection that transcends species, intelligence, and even time itself. Tesla, who had accompanied them, wagged his tail thoughtfully. "You know, for an alien, you're beginning to understand us rather well." "High praise indeed," Kill replied, wondering how she would explain to her superiors that the most advanced civilization they'd encountered might be the one that never forgot how to play fetch. United we stand. The news broke on a quiet Tuesday morning. Earth wasn't alone in the galaxy, and not all of its neighbors were as studious and peaceful as Kittil's species. The Drachnid Federation had emerged from deep space with an ultimatum: surrender Earth's uplift technology, or face isolation from the galactic community. In the United Nations emergency session, Kill stood before representatives of Earth's nations, her antennae quivering with urgency. "The Drachnids don't fear your technology. They fear what you've created with it, a partnership between species that defies their understanding of natural order." The chamber erupted in multilingual chaos. Humans and uplifted animals alike processed the implications. The Drachnids, it seemed, had been watching Earth's transformation with growing alarm. A species that could bridge the gap between human and animal consciousness was, in their view, too unpredictable to join galactic society. Perseus, now serving as the chief diplomatic representative for uplifted beings, stepped onto the podium. His feline grace had only been enhanced by his role in international politics. "They've made a crucial mistake," he announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. "They assume this is about technology, about what humans did to us. They don't understand that this is about what humans and animals have always been to each other." Luna, heading the Interspecies Defense Council, joined him. "We're not just pets who learned to talk. We're not just animals who gained intelligence. We're the result of thousands of years of coevolution, of trust and loyalty tested by time. The uplift didn't create our bond. It revealed its true potential." In the weeks that followed, Earth's unique partnership faced its greatest test. The Drachnids established a blockade, cutting off Earth's access to emerging galactic trade routes. They expected the pressure to fracture the already tense human-animal relations. Instead, the opposite occurred. Dr. Sarah Chen, working with a team of uplifted dolphins, made a breakthrough in underwater communication technology, establishing a planetary defense network that the Drachnids couldn't penetrate. Marcus and Luna developed new training protocols that combine human strategic thinking with animal instincts, creating security systems unlike anything in the galaxy. Even the separatist movement, led by the once militant Sage, recognized the need for unity. "Our differences with humans are family disputes," the fox declared. and family stands together when threatened. Till watched it all with growing amazement. Her reports to the Galactic Academic Council became increasingly urgent. "They're not just cooperating," she wrote. "They're innovating in ways neither species could achieve alone. The humans provide the framework of scientific knowledge, while the uplifted animals offer entirely new perspectives on its application." The turning point came 3 months into the crisis. A Drachnid delegation, frustrated by Earth's resilience, attempted to forcibly seize an Uplift research facility. They found themselves facing not an army, but an organized response from local dog parks, cat cafes, and pet shelters. Uplifted and non-uplifted animals working seamlessly with their human companions, protecting their shared home with a coordination that left the aliens baffled. "You don't understand what you're facing," Kittel told the Drachnid commander during emergency negotiations. "This isn't a master-slave relationship that can be broken. It's not even a partnership of convenience. Earth species chose each other long before they could explain why. The uplift just gave them new ways to express what was always there." In the end, it wasn't Earth's technology that forced the Drachnids to withdraw. It was the realization that they couldn't defeat a planet where every home was a fortress of loyalty, where the lines between species had blurred not through force but through choice. The final session of the UN, celebrating the Drachnids' retreat, became a testament to what Earth had become. Humans and animals sat side by side, not as different species, but as representatives of a single world that had discovered strength in its complexity. "We should thank the Drachnids," Perseus mused during the celebration, watching humans and uplifted pets dancing together in the Grand Hall. "Their threat showed us something important about ourselves." "Oh?" Emily asked, scratching his ears in the way that still made him purr, enhanced intelligence notwithstanding. "That the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or even intelligence. It's the choice to be better together than we ever could be apart." Dr. Chen raised his glass. "To Earth's greatest experiment, proving that family doesn't end at species boundaries. To the future," Luna added, her tail wagging. "Whatever it brings, we'll face it as we always have." "Together," Marcus finished, and around the room, voices both human and animal echoed the sentiment. Till made her final note in the report that would change galactic society's understanding of evolution forever. Earth's great achievement isn't that they gave animals the ability to think like humans. It's that they proved, across thousands of years and now among the stars, that love isn't bound by biology. In doing so, they haven't just changed their world. They've challenged the universe to imagine what's possible when we stop seeing differences as barriers and start seeing them as bridges. In homes across Earth that night, humans and animals settled into their evening routines, some discussing quantum physics, others simply sharing quiet companionship. They had faced the stars and shown them something unprecedented, a world where the boundary between species was less important than the bonds between hearts. The uplift had changed everything, and nothing at all.